Every year, almost 1,000 Christian women and girls between the age of 12 to 25 years are abducted, forcefully converted and married to their abductors in Pakistan.
In Pakistan, Christian women are disproportionately subjected to discrimination, social exclusion, and poverty.
I remember I was in Nigeria and we were trying to help a mother whose daughter was abducted. It was a very young daughter, she was about 15 years old, her name was Leah. And she was abducted one day from her home. And her mother was desperate. She tried to get her daughter back, tried to go to the courts, to the lawyers, to the police, but she hasn't been successful. And that is what we do with Jubilee Campaign. We try to help these parents who've lost their daughters, and we try to get the girls back.
Today we are here at the European Parliament. We have arranged a very important, crucial event together with the European Parliamentarians and Open Door. And we are going to talk about the minor girls who have been abducted, forcefully converted to Islam and married off with their abductors. So hope our initiative will create a significant pressure on these government to end and stop forced conversion, child marriage in these countries.
People who don't know me yet, I'm Anja Haga. I'm member of the European Parliament since the beginning of September, so it's not such a long time. We are talking this afternoon about the religious factor in violence against women and girls, and especially about Pakistan. First about this important topic, because first I thought a religious factor in violence against women and girls, is that really an issue? Yes, it is. And globally, there are a lot of environments where all females experience a disadvantaged status as women, before the law or in society. And that's happening despite the fact that an overwhelming 189 countries ratified the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. So this treaty, this records fundamental principles such as the equality of women before the law and the same right for men and women to enter the marriage only with a free and full consent. So, however, what is written in law is not always reflected in practice. And especially traditional patriarchal norms and religious traditions tend to be more important, and this makes women and girls victims of religiously motivated violence. And what is the link with freedom of religion or belief? And this is also an important topic for me as an MEP, freedom of religion or belief. And I read a report of Open Doors. They investigated the situation and they found that forced marriage of a woman or a girl can be an immediate response to conversion. And first I thought, conversion, what's that? But conversion, it means that it's a form of punishment and an attempt to restore, especially Christian women with a Muslim background, back to the Islamic religion. And where I am interested in is that Pakistan has trade advantages with the EU, and these trade advantages are laid down in the GSP+. You've already heard about it, I guess. And this trade agreement also means that Pakistan must adhere to the convention I already mentioned and the International Covenant on Civil Political Rights. And both of these treaties provide for freedom of religion and dignity for women and girls. However, every year almost 1,000 Christian women and girls between the age of 12 to 25 years are abducted, forcefully converted and married to their abductors in Pakistan. And the law and the cleric seems to too often side with abductors rather than victims.
In Pakistan, Christian women are disproportionately subjected to discrimination, social exclusion, and poverty. As a minority, they frequently encounter bias not only from societal structures, but also from legislative and law enforcement entities that should indeed protect them. They face an increased vulnerability to sexual abuse, forced marriages, and a myriad of rights violations which are seldom addressed due to their religious identity. The testimony of Christian women in Pakistan reveals a dire picture where even in educational institutions such as universities, discrimination on the basis of faith is rampant. The case of a Christian student repeatedly receiving failing grades solely due to her faith starkly exemplifies this deep-rooted prejudice. These acts of discrimination are further entrenched by laws that ostensibly protect religious sentiments, but in practice end up stifling freedom of expression and belief. The recent enhancement of punishment under the blasphemy law is a case in point, raising serious questions about Pakistan's adherence to its international commitments under the EU's GSP Plus program. This program requires beneficiaries to uphold human rights standards, including the freedoms of expression and religion. The European Parliament has already recognized these concerns. In its resolution of April 29, 2021, it has questioned Pakistan's compliance with GSP Plus obligations, particularly in the light of blasphemy laws which directly impact minority women by reinforcing their vulnerability to persecution. Ladies and gentlemen, the EU, as a global advocate for human rights and dignity, has the leverage and the moral duty to act. We must continue to scrutinize the GSP Plus status accorded to Pakistan, ensuring that our trade preferences are aligned with our values and principles. So, my conclusion is that we must affirm that the European Union indeed acts as a catalyst for change. It is imperative that we use our collective influence to ensure that women and girls in Pakistan and elsewhere where similar conditions prevail can live without fear of violence and discrimination. So I want us to work together to urge this House to stand firm in the defense of human rights and consider a temporary withdrawal of Pakistan's GSP Plus status until tangible progress is made. Our action or inaction will resonate far beyond these walls. We must choose action.
Then we go to the second speaker, Mrs. Miriam Bos from Jubilee Campaign.
Yeah.
Miriam is right here, so the floor is yours.
So I'm just going to keep it brief. I want to highlight that the issue of kidnapping and forced conversion is not just an issue in Pakistan, but occurs in numerous countries where Islamic laws are implemented. For example, Nigeria and Egypt. In Egypt, you have the Coptic Christian girls who are being targeted specifically because they are Christian. They're being kidnapped, forced to convert, and then married. And then in Nigeria, I think mostly in the northern states, because that's where the Islamic laws are applied. But today we focus here on Pakistan, but it is definitely a global issue. I want to mention that usually conversion to Islam is not really the end goal for the abductors. The abductors' end goal is sexual trafficking and sexual abuse. They, however, use these religious laws and sentiments of the society to cover up these terrible crimes and to help them, to assist them basically in these crimes and make it legal. The appalling element is that too often, not always, but too often, police, judges and other actors in society, like imams and local clerics of Islam, support the process because they basically prefer to help Muslims over Christians. They are biased. It is the idea, the notion that Muslims should dominate in society and should basically not be negatively affected by Christians and other religious minorities such as Hindus. It is a mindset of dominance, not by all Muslims, but unfortunately too often.
The Jubilee Campaign expresses its deep concern regarding increasing the incident of abduction, forced conversion, and forced marriages of minor and very young girls from religious minorities such as Christians and Hindus in Pakistan. Overwhelming 79% Christian girls were subjected to abduction, forced religious conversion, child marriage, and sexual violence before even reaching the age of 18 years. Although the Article of Pakistan 20, Article 20 of the Constitution of Pakistan guarantees the right to religious freedom and right to conversion is legally permissible, in practice, a government entity responsible for issuing national identity card put restrictions on religious conversion away from the majority religion of Islam. Consequently, conversion from Islam to any other religion socially is unaccepted and it is considered as apostasy, punishable by death according to the interpretation of some Islamic laws. Forced conversion and child marriage have been facilitated by the state and non-state actors in Pakistan, such as police, judges, Islamic clerics, and political leaders in Pakistan facilitate in this heinous crime. This issue of sexual violence and forced religious conversion against minority girls and women in Pakistan is a grave violation of human rights. Unfortunately, it often goes unnoticed due to the lack of action by government authorities. The situation calls for urgent and comprehensive action to safeguard their rights and well-being of religious minorities.
So an important part of what we do is we actually showed videos of girls who actually have been abducted and have been months tortured and sexually abused. We showed videos of them giving their statements, and I could see in the room that it gave a large impact amongst the European members of Parliament, because it's also hard for them to see these girls and to actually see what is actually happening to these victims. And I think that is a very important part of what Jubilee Campaign does. We try to show the victims to the members and people who can actually make change.
I think as members of the European Parliament, we really have to do something about it, and we will do that. The European Union has a trade agreement with Pakistan, the GSP+, and we have to negotiate with Pakistan about the trade agreement because they really have to do something about the blasphemy laws. And as European Parliament, we will discuss this trade agreement, and I hope that Pakistan will change their attitude against women, girls, and Christian in general. So I work on that. Thank you.
We have different reports regarding child abduction, conversion and marriage in Pakistan, Nigeria and Egypt. In Egypt with Coptic Christian girls. And we are going to show that, and we are going to send that to the different members of the European Parliament and other important European Union actors who were present at our meeting. And we also have some business cards, and so we can arrange for private meetings with these people to explain them more in depth, the situation of girls who are being abducted. So from one meeting comes another meeting, and I hope that we can bring to light this important issue of girls who are being abducted.
Came, what is her name? Margarita de la Pisa.
Oh, was she there?
She was there.
Oh,
she left early, but she heard. She appeared, and there were 4 MEPs. There were somebody from Commission. We saw that people were interested to solve the matter, to take it seriously, and they want to spread the news and take